The current top 10 strongest in Kengan Omega is very interesting. A lot of stuff has occurred since the last time I made this video. The death of Faye, Guy Mikaku, Edward Wu, Kinda, and new characters like Shen Luhan completely changing everything. First, we have some honorable mentions, such as the Fist of the Seeker fighters, namely Joji and the legendary Katsua. If you don't know what Fist of the Seeker is, take a look at this. This is Sandovich, the author of Kengan, who partnered with Daro as the artist to create Kengan Ashura and now the ongoing Kengan Omega. Before Sandro started Kengan Ashura, he had his own webcomic series that he did solely alone. I think you can tell why he needed an artist, but this was known as Fist of the Seeker, with many characters we know from Kengan appearing in the series, which is also set before the events of Kengan Ashura, and as expected, the main thing occurring was a tournament, but more in a way as an official tournament, nothing really underground related or as much compared to Kengan Ashura. Currently we know Joji as the uncle of Koga and current pinnacle of Rokushin karate in Kengan Omega, with Fist of Seeker occurring around 10 years before the current events of Kengan Omega when you look at the timeline. Meaning without a doubt, Joji has gotten much stronger compared to what he demonstrated in that tournament, and of course him being a relevant character in Kengan Omega also helps. This is mostly demonstrated with him training Koga, the protagonist, or pretty much becoming best friends with Shen Luhan, the god of this universe. He's yet to have a proper fight, but when he does, he'll definitely shock a lot of people, so I have to at least mention him. Then we have the one known as the strongest Mongoloid. Many of you guys watching today's video probably think Joji is pretty strong and maybe won that tournament in Fist of the Seeker, but that's not even close to the case. Yes, Joji could be viewed as I guess in the top 5 strongest, but Katsua was pretty much the Kuroki of that tournament, arguably having an even better performance, showing absolute domination in 99% of the fights. Additionally, Sandovich claimed on a Twitter Q&A, if Katsua participated in the Kengan Ashura Annihilation Tournament, he would make it to the final, confirming his top tier status. Unfortunately, to this day, he has not made an appearance in either Kengan Ashura or Kengan Omega, and even in a recent chapter, we had Joji kinda bait a lot of us in the fandom that he would make an appearance and even fight Shen Luhan. Therefore, he's still unknown to a lot of people in the fandom and cannot technically be ranked in today's Kengan Omega video. I should also mention Sandovich has 2 other ongoing manga that are confirmed to be in the same universe as Kengan. That being the How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift comedy workout manga, which also features a god I won't be including, and a new fighting female based series known as Star Strike It Rich. Apart from all that, I still have one more honorable mention that may be placed in a lot of you guys' top 10, but showing wise he is very limited. That is Shen Luhan, who is very important right now, but also someone who I believe may be a fraud. Let me explain. When he was first name dropped, it got confirmed that the top officers of the Connector include Gilbert Wu, Tokita Niko, Yan, and in fact Luhan. Then in chapter 232, he made his full reveal to the story, demonstrating his ability to casually walk through most of the security without being noticed outside of Tarashi and Ohma, which I'll get to shortly, claiming himself that he is a clone of the Connector, which is backed up by him looking similar to Ohma and Roki. It is then revealed that he was using a technique to slip past all of the security, involving the use of people's blind spots and awareness, but Shen Wulong's version of this was far more masterful than Luhan's would ever be, right away confirming that he's not close to Shen Wulong in any way, getting more confirmation as Wulong one-shots Luhan due to him showing hostility towards Joji, and claiming something interesting after that. Yan questions if he's going overboard as he's Wulong's clone, with the Connector's response being, "You know as well as I do that that's not me," which also requires us to bring up what Wulong said about Ohma right before killing Mukaku, that he's not a clone of him. Therefore, I can assume currently that Luhan and Ohma are not direct clones of Wulong, or at least the current Connector, while Ryuki is. However, only Yan and Wulong himself know this information, which is important to keep in mind for stuff that happens later and stuff I'll go over now. The next time we see Luhan is him pulling up on Ryuki and Ohma, saying that he's their big brother, and that they should work together to kill the connector, confirming that Wulong doesn't really care about him. However, Ohma gets a vibe from Luhan that is more evil compared to Wulong, with him leaving while claiming, "I'm sure we can understand each other because we are each other." We see him later on pull up on the Tiger Niko, saying he's going to kill Shen Luhan, asking for his help, and that he plans to do it when Wulong attempts transferring his consciousness into Ryuki and Ohma, revealing his true goal, wanting to become the connector himself and gain all the knowledge and experience that makes Wulong so strong, which to a lot of people in the fandom is making us think Luhan is the true Giga villain or maybe the final villain, but I don't really think so and don't really believe he's going to succeed. And based on the way Wulong treats him, at least compared to the other top officers, it is very possible that Luhan is weaker than them, potentially a lot weaker. Therefore, I won't be including him in my top 10 as he technically hasn't done anything or got any statements supporting him being in a list like this. My rank 6 to 10 are a group of fighters that are compared and confirmed to be on the same level many times in the story, meaning they can defeat one another on different days of the week pretty much, but we do have ways to order them based on the narrative and their role in the story moving forward. Number 10 is Kanoh Agito, who pretty much has everything: broken martial arts with his formless and some Niko style mastery, the ultimate power in pre-initiative, the means to get stronger and evolve, with an insane amount of experience. He is a fighter that Kuroki even claimed he may not be able to defeat, with Yan also considering him a top tier in the Kengan Association, who also had a clash with him after he made this statement. Unfortunately, recently in the manga, he lost against Jirota in an insanely close fight that could have gone either way, losing his spot in the real champion tournament, which already has Llong as a confirmed participator. During that fight, Ohma confirmed that there isn't much of a gap between Kanoh, Llong and Jirota. That was before the fight actually begun, with Wulong also confirming during the first exchanges that they're perfectly even. Whoever sets the flow first wins, expanded on by Ohma again later on, who noticed that Jirota is stronger than what he was in the Purgatory tournament. This is when he was already compared to Llong, now removing his main weakness, his judo only fighting style. And then after Jirota claimed victory, Ohma also said this win made him stronger, and participating in the champion tournament will most likely have the same effect. However, Kanoh Gito still has his own goals, that being wanting to surpass Kuroki Gensai, which in the long run is probably reason for ranking Kanoh higher, and if you break down every individual ability, Kanoh is probably better as a whole, but currently moving forward I have to put Jirota at 9 and Kanoh Gito at 10, however as I mentioned, rank 6 to 10 very interchangeable. 8 is Llong, the king of Purgatory, who really needs to stop being disrespected in the fandom due to people not understanding what happened in his fight with Ohma. Firstly, it's confirmed that during the time he faced Ohma, they're pretty much equals. Likewise with Raian, revealed in Llong's character profile with this outline. In terms of true strength and ability, Llong can be perceived as greater than or equal to Raian, and Raian is approximately equal to Ohma. However, since there's almost no difference in skill between the three, it is absolutely possible that the ranking can change at any time. Then we got it revealed that he's already made it into the champion tournament to show how much he's improved and more abilities we didn't particularly see. Recently in the manga, he also participated in the mini fight against the worm, in which he faced this goon, which may or may not be me in the Kengan Omega manga. Naturally, it needed to be mysterious, so we didn't get much shown before it was stopped. When it comes to his defeat by Ohma, it was fair game. Ohma wasn't able to use his regular Niko style technique spam due to Llong's Silat being a counter to that, the ultra close quarters combat, forcing Tokita to rely on the Kure techniques and mix in combos with the Niko style and the new addition of burst base advanced uses. It's not Ohma being like, I don't need to use these OP techniques, it's more so he can't use it against Wulong in these exchanges. Therefore, at 7th is Tokita Ohma, who will most likely be rising in the ranks as recently he got to see the absolute power of the connector firsthand, leading him to say, I think that real martial arts should be able to compete with guys like him. I can't stop thinking about how I can beat him. Ohma's grind is never ending and is now going into overdrive. Additionally, we have his long-awaited fight with the Tiger Niko for the revenge of his master, which is built up even more with him almost killing Kiryu Setsuna recently in the manga that I'll break down more so later on. At this point, Ohma has everything going for him. Pre-initiative, the entire Niko style, Kure clan techniques with some of them being very broken, and even the advance which is using it in a better and more adaptable way. He's currently passing the Niko style down to Koga, which has some thinking Ohma will die in the manga shortly, but I don't think it's going to be that soon. Yes, it's possible, but he still has a lot more to demonstrate and a lot more to improve upon, which I can't wait to see. At rank 6 is Kure Raian, who's higher than Ohma for a few reasons. Mostly his potential in the future of the story, who his endgame opponent is, and what he is currently doing. If you didn't know, after Raian killed Edward Wu, the Kure clan had an all-out battle against the Wus, led by Gilbert, and Raian was defeated in that battle and has gone missing since, revealed in chapter 229, with a panel that shows Raian most likely training in the mountains for at the least a year so far. Therefore, when he does return, he'll most likely live up to the hype Kure Iryo set for him, surpassing the first Fang's prime, which makes narrative sense as well, as Edward Wu lost to Raian due to the poison as confirmed in his character profile, which also cleared up that Prime Iryo is more likely equal to Edward rather than stronger, and then the clone of Eddie, Gilbert, is outright confirmed as stronger, and recently is working on improving even more. Therefore, for Raian to defeat Gilbert in the future, he'll need to be insanely strong, so that's what I'm expecting when he does return, most likely on this rise, training potentially more than anyone else currently. Additionally, in Kengan Omega, we have multiple instances where Ohma says Raian is stronger than him, so he definitely goes above for now. Up next are the top tiers that many of those below are training to surpass or defeat. 5th spot is Yan, the head of the worm. So out of the officers, I have him here, but honestly he could be the strongest for all we know. He's the closest to the connector in the story, and is most likely the strategy behind a lot of the worm's activities. This hasn't been confirmed, but the way Shen was shown when he chose Yan as the new worm's leader, it seems like the connector would be training him. He's confirmed to have a low version of the Superman syndrome, and while not as much as a pure prodigy like his brother ZG, he's someone who trains continuously, and when it comes to strength showings, he was able to clash with Kanoh Agito without much trouble at all, and you could say he was portrayed better than Kanoh. This is because Agito couldn't do anything major, while Yan was mostly focusing on what was occurring between Shen and Kuroki, and also working out that they must have a traitor. This is all while fighting Kanoh Agito, who's solely focusing on taking out Yan. Additionally, Shen claimed that a few people close to him would be able to defeat Mukaku, confirming that Yan would probably make the cut. Mukaku, as a reminder, was viewed by Ohma as a monster with insane power he wanted nothing to do with. This before mentioned statement is also used by some to say Yan is the strongest of the officers, with him also not being scared of throwing hands with any of them, being confident that he could defeat Gilbert in a fight, but that's all we have for Yan currently. At the 4th is Tokita Niko, the one I view as the big villain of Kengan, who recently has been getting disrespected due to his performance against Kiryu. For this fight, a few things need to be noted. For a big portion of it, it was clear that Niko wasn't taking it that serious, being more worried about his alcohol being destroyed than anything else, while Kiryu's only goal was killing him. He was also using more so goofy Niko style techniques in my opinion, at least at one stage. and mostly got caught off guard with Kiryu's Koei and Gar style combination, with these two being the best catching your opponent off guard martial arts in all of Kengan. And after realizing Kiryu is willing to do anything at this point to kill him, and he was now somewhat in danger, he got serious with him transforming and defeating Kiryu without any additional injuries that we can see. Unfortunately, we didn't see how Niko won and what he did after transforming, but it looks like he did it without any additional trouble. This is of course when being fully serious. This situation made people look down on Niko, mostly due to them not understanding how much of a monster Kiryu Setsuna was himself, also being one of the biggest prodigies in the entire series. We also had the before mentioned scene with Yan that had a panel of him giving the vibe that he was going to snap and kill Yan at any point, but can't due to Wulong being around. That's why he may join Luhan in his plan to kill the connector, but not really being for his overall goal most likely, as he wants power for himself. Ohma will without a doubt face him in the future and probably be Ohma's toughest battle, the final clash of the Niko style masters. Can't wait to see it. Kuroki Gensai, the almighty beard, comes in third. For a long time he wasn't doing anything in Kengan Mega, over 200 chapters of pretty much nothing. However, Kanoh still viewed him as his main goal, and Ohma, after defeating Llong, claimed there's others he still wants to defeat, with Kuroki definitely being one of them, still putting Kuroki on a pedestal for a lot of the other top tiers. This is regardless of his own claims of not knowing if he can beat Kogo Gito during the Lutien fight, and that Jirota is on his level, but then we had him pull up on Shen Luhan, changing everything. Kuroki charges with his Devil Lance and forces Shen to block and say, "Incredible, you're stronger than anyone else I've met in this country." A telling statement that can be used to argue many things, but without spending too much time on that, it's clear that Kuroki is still the GOAT like he was in Kengan Ashura, and has continued to develop and get stronger, as he claimed at the end of that manga that he's still green. In their fight, he was able to land multiple counters that damaged Shen various times, and blocked Shen's insanely strong attacks without major damage. Then after it was stopped, for other reasons, it was revealed that Kuroki wasn't even serious, or at least claimed by Shen. Likewise with the connector, who was only using one side of his body, but regardless of this is something no other character in the series so far has been able to do or perform this well against the monster, which is Shen Luhan. Therefore, having Kuroki in the top 3, maybe even at second, is definitely arguable now. But for now, I have Gilbert Wu, who I view as the second strongest for the following reasons. First, the impact Edward Wu had on the series, being able to deal with Kure Raian and the other Kure/Wu clan members at the same time, a true monster, with Gilbert being a clone of this Edward, and is confirmed outright stronger when it comes to raw stats, alongside now evolving mentally to Edward's level and wanting to surpass everything Edward was, taking the name God of the Underworld, the character that the stronger than Prime Irio future Raian is going to fight, a true demon. Something that is very clear is that rank 5 to 2 are in the same tier, and you could say they're also very interchangeable. This depends on your perspective, but I'm okay with this ranking. Let me know your ranking down below. At number 1, as expected, Shen Luhan, the strongest of current and in the entire history of Kengan without a doubt. I don't need to go into detail why, as everyone watching probably agrees if you've read Kengan Omega. But if you're interested in a breakdown of the true extent of his power, at least for what we've seen so far, check out my Shen vs Yujiro Hanmo breakdown video, where I explained virtually everything about Shen and why he's number 1, alongside breaking into the higher realm of Baki scaling as well. Also stay tuned for future videos as we learn more in the Kengan Omega manga. Shout out to these mad lads. That's it guys. Peace.